These people don't give a shit.
He's giving them the business. The business.
Oh, the man is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it. Goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. It's going to win the football. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
50 to the 40. Herbert Whitfield to the 30 to the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown FSU.
Welcome, everyone. Week 14, Conference Championship Week. Last week, we wrapped up the regular season, and it was a crazy rivalry week. I was at a wedding, so I didn't get to watch a lot of these games, but you can best believe we watched the Florida State game, most of it at least, and we caught the end of the Alabama game. That's for sure. Washington had a close one, so we're going to get into that, and then we're going to get into our Week 14 picks. Just starting off, Davis, you were at the Florida State game. Tell us about the atmosphere, the crowd. How many FSU fans were there? Because I was watching it, and I heard the war chant loud and clear coming through on the other side.
Yeah, this game was electric in all sense of the word. A 100% sold out game. You look around, there was just no empty seats. But both fans, like you mentioned, they showed up strong. Florida State was really loud. They had a lot to be loud about. Especially when you're undefeated, facing off against another team that's also dealing with a backup quarterback situation. You know, they had every reason to still be excited. They were behind their team, and even at halftime when Florida had the lead,
Davis,
you knew the game was far from over.
Going on with the
Jesus Christ, man.
every now and then, just something is popping in, going yerp, yerp, yerp.
Oh, geez.
I
Well,
don't
here,
know. Hang on, let me cut the music. Maybe it was the music.
All right, how we sounding now?
I don't know. Just keep going.
All right, well, we'll keep going. We'll see what happens.
As soon as he started back.
I don't know, man. Here, let me. I'll get off my Wi-Fi.
It's like someone's messing with us. That's crazy. We got people in the chat here. If you're in the chat, send us a like. Oh no, it's Joey. It's Joey. Joey saying, "Go Knowles, baby." You earned that one. That's okay. I mean, it was a close game. Florida gave Florida State everything they wanted, and then some. Yeah, Verse isn't even that good. That's my thing. It's like Florida just isn't good, and they let them do whatever they wanted.
You can't really say Verse isn't that good. Like, if I'm giving respect to
He's not as good as Florida made him look. Is what I'm saying.
Nah, dude, he's been talked about all year. If there's a player that I give respect to on FSU's team, it's Verse. It's Verse. I don't really care about much of their other players except for Keon Coleman, but yeah, Verse is a dog. I'd have to give him that one.
He definitely was Saturday night.
If we're talking about smacking a motherfucker, though, it's the DBs on Florida smacking Tate after he went down, dog.
Yeah.
They killed that man. That was a murder mission.
An egregious hit. One of the penalties that really cost Florida for no reason. That, Florida's made these undisciplined penalties and all year. Cost them the game. I mean, even the Lions spitting on Florida State. Like, what the fuck is that? What are you doing? You stop them, and then you're going to get a dumb penalty like that. Just makes absolutely no kind of sense. Couldn't carry momentum whatsoever. Florida has not been able to carry momentum this whole year. You were up 12-0. Should have been up maybe 15 or 18-0.
With some made field goals.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, keep in mind, Trace Mack was our second kicker going into the season. And, he won the job after Mihalik kept on missing. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Florida just killed its own momentum with that double reverse bullshit. Just keep running the ball. You're running it 4 yards a carry. I don't understand. Florida had a chance to win this game. Obviously couldn't do it. FSU continues to do what they do and stop teams in the fourth quarter in the second half and scored some points there.
And you could
like Their their second half defense is one of the best in the country. Has to be, just because they put themselves against the wall every game they play, and they get out of it every single time. Like, so you have to give credit to their defense in the second half this season. It's been probably the best in the country if I were to say, go about one. But now you're getting to the point in the season where that shit's got to stop if you're FSU, because that just can't keep happening, especially when you get to Louisville, and then especially if you get past Louisville and you're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just makes me sad, man. Like, this was Napier's one chance to kind of redeem himself this season.
This was a job saver, technically. This was a job saver of a game, and now if he's keeping the job, which I'm not really. I mean, they could fire him. I wouldn't be surprised if they fired him. I mean, 5-7 in your second year, it's pretty fireable in my opinion. Like, you're not going to a bowl game, so
yeah, I think he's 11-14 in his 2 years here. So,
yep.
I they've done it before. I mean, I was a Dan Mullen guy. Obviously, Dan Mullen made some bonehead decisions as well.
I still don't think we should have fired Dan Mullen.
I don't think we should have either. I missed the play calling there, and you get someone at a defensive coordinator, and I think you're doing good. Pour on Joey Billy Taggart. I mean, he's right. This is why FSU fans are calling him Billy Taggart, is because you talk about culture, you talk about discipline, and then every single game you got two of the same numbers on the field at Utah. Nothing got better. No one got better the entire.
It was always something
better the entire season. It was always something, like Davis is saying. Someone did something dumb to cost you the game, and this one is really bad. We're about to see how bad it's going to be. We got two players in the transfer portal already. Malik, obviously, he lost the job as a starting kicker, and Odom, tight end. So there's other tight ends there. So I think that was just a depth chart transfer, but we'll see if more is to come.
I got to tell you, man, I'm just one guy out of amongst a lot of other people that were at the game. I had so many people talking shit to me after the game. I don't know if I had a target put on my back or something, or if someone was like, yo, that guy's the guy to go talk shit to. I was just getting railed on by these people. And I'm moving along. There was one guy, though. He was drunk as shit. He was a Florida State fan. And he's acting like he wants to go fight another Florida fan who I guess was talking trash back to him. I don't know what came over me, but I decided to talk trash to this guy who very clearly could have kicked the shit out of me. Like, this guy was way bigger than me, way drunk. I mean, I wasn't drunk at all. Like, this guy was really drunk. He looked like he was ready to fight somebody. And for some reason, with my wife with me, I decided, you know what? I'm going to see if I can poke the bear a little bit. It was actually Joey. This guy had all of his friends holding him back on me. I was right by my car. I was like, all right, push comes to shove, I gotta hurry up and get in the car. But I'm like walking to the car. Amanda's like, Davis, shut the fuck up. And I'm just like, and I'm just continuing to poke this guy. This guy's like, you want to keep talking shit? I'm like, yeah, I do actually. I don't know. Again, I don't know what came over me. I was a little pissed off at the blown lead. Maybe I was not surprised that we had that we were gonna give it up. Amanda was telling me the whole game, they're gonna lose this game. You know that, right? Florida's going to lose this game. And I'm like, hey, we're still winning. We're winning. And then Florida State makes one good pass, and she's like, Florida State's gonna win this game. You know that, right? Sure enough.
Yes, my friend.
Yeah, that was her the whole time.
So the man
don't fight people, Davis. Don't fight people.
Hey. The man hit 30.
It's all good.
The man hit 30, and now he's a whole different guy. He's a whole different guy. He's in his 30s.
Daddy does it.
Day one in the 30s, and he's out here trying to fight people. Good Lord.
I wasn't trying to fight anybody. I was more or less just trying to piss somebody off, which I did.
There you go. I mean, if it was an FSU fan, they should have just been celebrating, honestly. But they're probably just mad. I mean, the players were getting chippy as well. Like we said, that egregious targeting penalty. And it took our best DB out of the game as well. The ACC refs were kind of handing it to us too in the first half. Like, we had a call, the unnecessary roughness on Max Brown when the safety came in and blitzed and sacked him, and that gave the Gators 7 points. So without that, that's another field goal, maybe a field goal miss. You know, just could not get the ball moving. FSU's defense stuffed us. I don't know. Battle of the backups. FSU won. It's a disappointing loss, man. I hate to spend. I mean, I got to spend time on it just because this is it for the Gators. There's no bowl game. You know, we took FSU out of a bowl game 2 years ago. Now they're here doing the same to us. Yeah, Joey's right. Only touchdown in the game. I mean, and you look after those two drives, Florida was up like 110 to like 10 yards, had like 100-yard lead on FSU.
Defensively, man, we really showed up in that first half.
Yeah.
And then it was like a little later in the first half where it was like, all right, we're giving up points, but you'd expect that we're going to give up points at some point, and we just disappeared offensively in the second half. Only managed 3 points.
Yeah, Florida still rushes.
Couldn't throw the ball.
Florida was rushing the ball good. That's what was surprising me, and it was surprised me when they did the double reverse, hippy dippy bullshit. Because Montreal was running the ball, Etienne was running the ball very well. End up still running for more, 146 to 90. FSU's 90. Yeah, like Joey said, we ran 26 plays to their 3. I think we had like 20 minutes time of possession in the first half. To FSU's not a lot. So kept Tate Rodemaker on his toes. He didn't hit any big passes till late in the first half. When they were going down the score, or that might have been early in the second half. But yeah, kept them bottled up. And that's the thing. Our defense has been struggling all year besides the Tennessee game. And they come out, and now the offense is the issue. Couldn't get that going. But the defense brought the energy. Hell, even got a safety. Austin Armstrong's scheme was looking good, and he was fired up. I don't know if you saw him on the sideline there, Davis, but on TV, they showed him a couple times, chest bumping players. I like the energy from him. I like Austin Armstrong. I think the players got to execute a lot better on defense. I think they did last week, this past Saturday, but it just wasn't enough. The offense couldn't get it going.
And you know what? Again, got to build that team.
I think it's weird that safeties aren't considered turnovers. I'm just looking at the stat sheet right now. And then safety is not considered a turnover. Because I feel like it should be.
Yes, that's a valid point. Turnover.
It's turnover and points, really, when you think about it, which is like it's even better than a turnover, for being honest.
Yep. For the second year in a row, FSU gets the better of the Gators. They will be missing a lot of players next year. They go on to the conference championship, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But one of the games that surprised me, missed my locks. And I guess we can get into the locks. Justin, I don't think you were able to give them last week, so I'll let you go first. And we did retally these up, so we have the actual totals with us. Justin, here are your locks.
Yeah, no, it was a good week in football. Ohio State did cover, which is very surprising. They actually did cover. Ole Miss, the Civil War.
Yeah, that's Oregon State.
That's an interesting game. I'm kind of forgetting which ones of these didn't hit and which ones did. I know that Washington didn't cover. That was just Washington, they just played really slow football these past couple weeks, which is getting kind of annoying when you think about it, because it's just
Ohio State did not cover, by the way.
If that's plus 3.5 and they lost by
6.
Am I true?
30 to 24.
That's right. No, that's why we didn't kick a field goal. Yes, because we missed a field goal. That was my mentality. We missed a field goal. That's why. If we didn't miss a field goal, we would have tied it up. But I think it was Ole Miss that covered, and Oregon and Oregon State did not cover. I'm just checking these back out. We were going to do an early pod, and I was ready for it, and then Rob overslept, and yes, I couldn't really get my locks last week. But I don't know. Right now, just in shambles, if we're being honest. Yeah. But the Ohio State game, we'll talk about that. That was a horrific game.
He's down bad.
Yeah, I'm down bad too, man. I'm telling you, I was rough. I mean, I don't know if you follow Gators Breakdown of David Waters, but I watched that whole episode this morning or the morning after, And towards the end, man, he actually ended up tearing up. And some people were giving him shit on Twitter. It is kind of funny that he cried, but at the same time, like, I feel you, man. It's a disappointing season if you're a Gator and you don't really have a lot to look forward to. You got to have something positive to look forward to. So I guess we'll try to get some recruits locked in before National Signing Day or early signing day here in 3
Got to
weeks.
recruit.
Yeah, got to
That's the
recruit.
lowest over under of the year, and it still hit.
Yeah, so on our morning podcast last week, I guess I'll start with that one. The Iowa-Nebraska over-under was 26.5. I think it ended up closing at 24.5.
No,
and
it was
still hit.
Yeah, it still hit. That's
It
the
still hit
lowest
at
cover of
23.
the year.
So
The
that one
lowest
was
cover.
good. Arizona, I had that one locked in all day, every day. Arizona's playing like a top 10 team. Honestly, top 15 maybe. I like the Wildcats. So I'm excited to see what bowl they end up landing in. That one covered. Georgia did not cover. They did what they did against Vanderbilt, and I think they were just kind of playing around and hanging in there. But you don't do that in a rivalry game. Georgia Tech was up 10-7. They're going into the second quarter. I was not about to turn away from the Florida State game, but if any of y'all caught what was going on there, let me know. They didn't cover. The
They just played slow ball all day.
the OSU
Played slow
Michigan
ball.
under almost hit, but I actually switched that one out for Alabama covering against Auburn, which also didn't hit. So that one was just a loss switched for a loss. And then Ole Miss barely covered. They won by 10. But
that was a weird cover because I'm sitting there. I chose that one too, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, this game's it's never it's never exciting. Like I've always wanted to go to this game, but not for the offensive factor.
I'd like to go at Mississippi State with all the cowbells.
Yeah, but I've never wanted to go to this game for a fun football game. It's just gritty. Like it's really, really gritty. Like it's just a tough, grueling matchup. It's entertaining. It's aggressive, and like these schools just hate each other. Like it's just like these two country schools in the middle of nowhere just meeting up and playing some gritty ball on the night of Thanksgiving, and it's good ball. It's fun to watch, but it's never going to be like a super exciting game. Like if they win by 3, it's very typical. If they win by 10, that's not surprising. Blowouts are not typical in this rivalry game. They just really aren't.
And this was solid from Lane Kiffin after the game. Let me know if my audio is good. Is the audio
Trophy
good?
back. That was really painful last year to lose that. I kind of.
Oh wait, I didn't. I gotta take this off of here. Yeah, Lane Kiffin. This is Lane Kiffin after the Egg Bowl, after their victory against Mississippi State.
Thought maybe that, if you're ever going to lose it, that once we learned later on that was Coach Leach's last game, that maybe that was meant to be. So I miss him. I missed him today, and we'll never forget him. So, but I'm glad that obviously we got it back to us, and where we hope to keep it for a while. So excited to get the trophy.
Super classy there by Lane Kiffin, referencing Mike Leach there, and Mississippi State made a new hire as well. So
yeah, Levy time.
Yep, out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, that was a weird feeling in that game. It had to be. I mean, not having Mike Leach there. I mean, he was a true staple of that game, and I know he really hasn't been talked about. His depth hasn't been talked about much throughout college football this year. But if there was a day that should have, definitely that one, because that was the last game he ever coached, unexpectedly, of course. Like the last game that he ever coached, which also Mississippi State's in a really weird spot. They fired their coach a couple weeks ago. They have Jeff Lebby now. That's like one of the weirdest things, right? It's like,
what do you think about the hiring of Jeff Lebby?
I'll get to it. Yeah, but the thing is with that, you lose Leach, right? Like that's one of the weird things is you don't expect to lose a coach, not by choice. Like it's not that he retired. It's not that he wasn't good. It was he passed away, right? Which is that's be a really weird thing for an athletic director or just even a football program as a whole. But for Lebby, he's someone who's there in the past and he did okay there. It wasn't an awesome hire in my opinion. I don't think either of the two hires that are like the big hires in the SEC right now are great hires. I don't think they're really like that's nothing's like popping off the page. I know Mike Elko.
Mike Elko's.
Yeah, That one's not making
Can't
me
wait to see
go
how
like,
that works
whoa.
out.
I mean, let me tell you, Texas A&M fans are fired up about it. They had a good defense, had good recruiting on the defensive side whenever he was there.
They were fired up about Mark Stoops too, in the complete opposite way of how they're fired up about Mike Elko.
Yeah, so
they were they were completely against that one. They were going to hire Stoops, and then there was a whole uproaring revolt, and they said, "Okay, we're not going to hire that guy." Yeah, that was crazy.
And this was crazy. This was happening like 11 o'clock, after 12 o'clock if you're on the Eastern time zone here in Florida. And we're like, oh, Mark Stoops is the new head coach over there, which honestly, it's a good hire. I like that hire. I think Mark Stoops would be better at Texas A&M than he would be at Kentucky, because I think you can just only be so good at Kentucky.
Yeah, and he's at the peak of what you can get out of Kentucky football. Like,
and as a Gator fan, you got to appreciate not having Mark Stoops at Kentucky anymore, right? At least he's in the West.
Yep. I mean,
he's at Florida's number
for sure.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just the fact that, I mean, he is literally at the peak of what you can be if you were to coach football at a basketball school.
So here's Mike Elko as the new head coach of Texas A&M.
I'm back in Aggie land. I'm back where I belong. I'm back at a place where we considered home for 4 amazing years of this coaching journey. This is a special time to be the leader of this great football program. From the moment I came down here back in 2018, I've been blown away by this place. Okay, resourced as the premier football program.
All right, that's enough for Texas A&M. But some of those comments were absolutely hilarious. Someone said, "Get me a brick wall." Like, yeah, these guys are excited to have Mike Elko back, and after seeing what he did this year at Duke, it's hard not to be excited. Does he take Riley Leonard with it? Does Riley Leonard have another year under him?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, not a
sure.
bad pickup though.
I think
not a bad if he does. I mean,
they could
A&M
definitely
needs a
use him.
quarterback.
I mean, it's definitely possible. Just know if Riley Leonard hits portal, like, after the bowl game, yeah, he's definitely going to go there. It's pretty obvious. We see that happen a few times in the past, but Elko is a former coordinator there, and I don't know if he was great there. I mean, I don't know if nothing about his term there was really oh yeah, this is someone that we should look forward to trying to hire after getting rid of Jimbo. I just and he played he's honestly he's just the ACC version of Mark Stoops. I mean, he's at a basketball school. It's just not Duke's mediocre. Less. It had one good year at Duke. It's not really something that's we should really hire that guy.
They probably needed a coach at discount. I mean,
probably.
He did something that left a good impression on the Texas A&M fan base, because when they hired Mark Stoops, who is a very good coach and recruiter, Texas A&M fans were up in arms, almost as bad as Tennessee fans were back in the day when they tried to hire Jeremy Pruitt. Is that who? I think that's who it was.
Greg Schiano, I thought. Greg Schiano.
Schiano.
They were going to hire him, and then he got fired right away.
So kind of similar to that. And the story is the fan base did change this hire, right? Because
they do. Because also the boosters get mad too, which I don't know. I think Mark Stoops is actually a better hire than Elko because he competed in the SEC. He turned Kentucky from what it was. What was Kentucky? Oh, it didn't beat Florida for 3 decades, and now it's beaten Florida majority of the times in the past 5 years. That's where he turned Kentucky. He turned Kentucky into a top 15 AP ranked team. Where was Kentucky before that? Never touching the AP in the sport of football, basically ever. But A&M fans have always been naturally known to, I don't know. I've never thought they were the smartest. They never really acted the best way. I also don't know many A&M fans, so I can't really say oh,
it's
I
an
know
agricultural school.
Fans. This is correct. They also do a midnight yell, and they talk crap about small schools who they pay $1.5 million to come beat them at home, like App State. That's who they are.
Or Auburn.
Got some Texas A&M hate over here coming from Justin. I'm feeling Justin is just out here hating on the Aggies.
I haven't done a pod in a couple weeks. I also
He's mad.
it's been a while. I
Hoodie
mean,
J.
right now
Yes.
I am revolting against college football this year. It's leaving a bad taste in my mouth. It's a new look at college football, but I just don't like how anything's going. It's not from just a Florida perspective, but also an Ohio State perspective. I mean, Marshall barely made bowl eligibility last week. I mean, it's just
Understandable, man. Understandable.
At least you have a team going to a bowl game.
Right. Davis,
Yeah.
I'll let you get your lock breakdown in from last week. You did go 0-5.
woo, baby.
Oh no, man.
Giving us an
I know.
opportunity this week to come back on you.
Look at these things
I
over here.
literally I mean
Woo.
Alabama the Alabama Auburn game, that one was a shock because Auburn had it the entire game. They had that plus 14.5 the entire game.
Man.
Georgia, what the hell, man? But they took it easy. They gave up 10 points in the fourth quarter. But I mean, I still don't think I would have done it anyways. Oregon State, I probably should have known a little bit better on that one.
I
I
thought that was your best lock. I mean, I really did.
but I know
Oregon,
it was a home game for Oregon. I mean,
Yeah.
Bo Nix had a Heisman game. Don't think he's going to win it, unfortunately, but he had a Heisman kind of game.
if he wins this
don't
week,
they do the voting before the conference championship though?
no, they do not. They do it after.
After the conference championship.
Oh, then there you go. Bo Nix gets another shot.
Yeah, no. But it's whoever wins the Pac-12 is going to win the Heisman ultimately, in my opinion. Like if Michael Penix beats Bo Nix twice, I mean, they're not going to say no. We shouldn't give it to that guy.
Not so fast, my friend.
Jaden Daniels.
Let me finish this up.
No,
Let me
he's
finish
not.
this up.
Look
real
at his
quick.
look.
We're
He
gonna
has
get
hat static. Okay, we can. Get
Yo,
into this.
I remember what I texted the group chat before. I have to leave at
Let him
7:30.
finish. Let him finish. Yeah.
So, Florida could have happened. God dang it, it could have happened. At least give me one win, but nope. Louisville. I thought Louisville was gonna do it. They were up by 7 at one point, maybe a push, but nope. Kentucky got it. And they ended up winning by 7. So,
I mean, Davis, you get two of those 3 missed field goals. We're in.
I know. I mean, at least give me one win. I have
Yeah.
the lead, and now you and I, based off of like the record breakdown, are tied.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, I'm
winning by like a half game.
You're one ahead. I did push on one. Now there is an asterisk on this because Justin got in a lock last week for Washington at +1. It was a pick 'em at the close, and I gave that to him, and that was a W. Now you locked in Washington at +2.5, which would not have won. So you should be 39 and 29. But I gave you the benefit of the doubt and gave you that win.
Wait. Hold on.
That doesn't sound right. I thought I covered
No,
that
Rob,
regardless.
that's wrong completely. If they're at +2.5, my +1 is actually a more difficult pick.
No, you're +1. So here's what happened. Washington was an underdog at Washington State, and Washington ended up winning by 2 points.
That's not.
Yeah,
no, Washington
Rob,
played a different
if they
team
are an
last week.
underdog, that means they just have to win.
All they have to do is win.
If he's in the plus, all they have to do is win.
You're right.
What in the
No.
world?
No, he still got the W anyway. You still got the
Yeah, I
dub.
got the W. We got the dub. That's all
What
that
in
matters.
the
We got the
world?
dub.
To be
Maybe-
fair, it was
maybe it's
weird-
forgotten
weird
that
that
he-
Washington was an underdog anyway in that game.
That's wild. I was like, I'm just listening to this. I'm like, nothing sounds right now. Do we want to get into Heisman talk? What do we want to
See,
do?
what happened was, yeah, I mean, now's the time to do it. I think Jaden Daniels, with what he's done this year at LSU, if he would have had a defense, it'd be a no-brainer. He's winning the Heisman. If he's got a defense and doesn't lose 1 or 2 of those games, he's the guy.
He had a good game last week. He did. He had a good game.
Came back too.
I
They
think-
came back and won that
think-
game.
But
So here's the
I
problem.
tell you
with-
what, though, I think Bo Nix, if he were to ball out and get the win and have like a moment or two where it's like, holy shit, he did that. Like, I'm having a really difficult time not giving it to Bo Nix. He's put up insane numbers this entire year. He has had very good moments. He had a good moment last week where he like ran across the field, threw it across his body, and it was like a 40-yard pass down the field. I think that Bo Nix gets the win, secures the championship, and has like one or two like cool moments with some stats to go along with it, like I think he has the Heisman. I think he
It's not
makes
that
that
thick.
late push for the Heisman.
I'll take Bo Nix over Jaden Daniels.
He
I
is
do
the
not
betting
think-
favorite right now too.
Exactly. But Michael Penix is second, and deservedly, because if you look at Jaden Daniels, he had an 8-touchdown game versus Georgia State. He had a 5-touchdown game versus Army. He had a 6-touchdown game versus Grambling. Half of his touchdowns almost are basically from these games that are tune-up games. He's stat padding, and he's playing well into the fourth quarter in all those games, which is a huge no-no. Ever. Like, we always bring up, like, oh, well, when did Kyler get pulled from most of his games when he was a Heisman winner? How many fourth quarter games did Bryce Young play? You know, that always gets talked about. None of them played in the fourth quarter of their tune-up games, whereas Jaden Daniels has played in tune-up games versus Georgia State, Grambling, Army. He's played in every fourth quarter this year, and most of them, he didn't even be touching the field come halftime.
That's a good point. I mean, Brian Kelly is trying to pad the stats and get
He is.
Heisman.
Oh, trying to help him. Definitely trying to help him.
It's the most Brian Kelly thing to do, right? Like, not worry about the record of the football team, but worry about something that can put his team on top. Like, it's the most Brian Kelly thing to do.
It'd give him his first Heisman winner.
So, are you
I
not
will
right?
always.
Penix,
I am forever riding Penix. Like,
Okay.
it's still Penix till we die. But because I made a preseason prediction before the season started that Washington was a dark horse to make playoffs, and Penix was the Heisman favorite. And that's still riding very strong, and we are in week 14, gentlemen, and I am just very happy about that pick.
It was a good pick. I mean, if Penix beats Oregon for the second straight time, he definitely elevates himself up there into some of these voters.
But Oregon is a completely different team from what we saw.
We'll keep rolling. I'm going to skip a few of these games. That Iowa-Nebraska under, like we talked about, did hit still, so I'm very excited about that. Texas absolutely destroys Texas Tech. I thought it'd be a close game. I was actually nervous about it. I should have taken Texas in the spread. Didn't do it. So they're sitting right outside that top 4, just hoping for a couple losses here. I'll tell you, it's going to be hard to keep if Alabama beat Georgia. How do you keep Texas out with the head-to-head victory against Alabama early in the season?
Just
And be quick about it because we got to move.
Well, because Alabama's it's a tough one to talk about. I really do have to say that Alabama is a more consistent team than Texas, and Texas. From a personal opinion, this is not how the playoff committee will view it. From a personal opinion, Bama is a more consistent team. Texas is a slip-up team, and we saw that versus Oklahoma. And also, technically, that would mean Bama has a better loss than Texas because Texas losses to a lesser-ranked team. But, I mean, it all comes down to your losses, really. But when did your loss happen? Bama happened at week 3. Texas happened at week 5, 6, whatever.
In a rivalry game. Yeah, week 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they will go on to face the Oklahoma State Cowboys in the Big 12 championship. Oklahoma fans are absolutely livid. They're in dismay. The BYU Cougars dropped the ball. If BYU would have won, we would have seen a Red River shootout rematch.
Maybe if you're Oklahoma, don't put yourself in that position to where you're relying on the damn Soakers. You're
110%.
You're relying on the Soakers. Like, you put yourself in the position to rely on the Soakers of college football to get you to a championship.
And you're going to end up dry. That's how it happens. Yeah, but they won in overtime. Oklahoma State ended up stripping the ball and picking it up. Oh, man. If you're a Sooner, man, that breaks your heart. But Oklahoma State puts itself in a position to play spoiler to Texas. I don't know if it's going to happen.
They could do it. It's going to be a good game.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
They're so inconsistent, though. They are men and they are 40.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
That's what they are. But it kills me. They will go and look like they got a Heisman running back in Ollie Gordon, and then after 4 straight weeks of him going over 100 yards, 200 yards, they'll lose to UCF 45-3.
Yeah, that was the most random game of the year, dog. That's the most random game of the year.
Wait a minute. We got a weird chat here. Joey, FSU Joey says, "Did y'all hear about the armpit crabs breakout in soccer country?"
Why do you know
Oh,
anything
no.
about
That's
what's
tough.
happening over there? Why do you know
Davis, you got to
anything
go ask
about that?
your Utah
Brother-in-law.
family about that.
Like,
That's
hey,
weird.
Rhett.
And I thought crabs
Did
were.
you have
extinct.
any experience with this matter?
That is weird. But we're talking.
Hey, you got to
football here,
maintain that
Joey.
virginity.
Yeah, we're talking football here, Joey. That's gross, dude.
Why do you know that, Joey?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. You were
Because he got it.
he writes the BYU Cougar. He reads it. BYU today. All right. So Big 12 championship. We'll get to that in a second. But Oklahoma State, man, you done ruined the Sooner season. You did a good job beating them head to head, and now you got them crying.
Wow.
Texas though, they did look good going into that game. So
That was the
think it's gonna be
last. I mean, there's something I do want to point out before we get into anything else. Like, I think a lot of the country took this last week of college football very for granted because we saw a huge error, like probably one of the most staple errors of college football come to an end Saturday. And I'm not just talking about Texas Tech. I'm just talking about Power 5 football in general. We saw so many teams that we'll never see in conferences again, so many matchups that we'll never see again. Like Texas Tech, like that was a matchup that's created some crazy historical moments in college football that we'll never see again. Well, I feel like no one's talking about this enough, but we just saw the death of the Pac-12 and West Coast football happening at midnight. We saw the death of so many great teams of the Pac-12 being moved to the Big Ten. College football as a whole, that was the last look that we ever did see of it. And it was however many years that it's just been what we've known. Like college football as a whole is completely different come next year. And like, I don't think it's being looked at or talked about enough.
I think you're right.
I do think the newest rivalry, though, for next year, because isn't there going to be like a 2-team Pac-12 next year? Like Oregon State
In Washington State, yeah.
and Washington State are going to remain in the Pac-12, and they're going to play as a conference.
Yeah, and this is interesting. I mean, they're going to field some.
But you can't call that a Power 5 conference anymore.
No, they're definitely not Power 5. But I do see a world where they field some teams and get them into the Pac-12. Maybe Boise State. I don't know. Get some of these.
The thing that sucks is that Group of 5 football out west, out there, is very weak compared to Group of 5 football out here. Like if they were over here in the East, they could pull so many different Sun Belt teams and American teams, the SMUs, the Appalachian States, the JMUs. They could pull all those teams up there to try and strengthen the Pac-12 a little bit. But because Group of 5 football out there is so weak, it's basically Pac-12's dead.
Look at this comment. If you're not first, you're last. That's hilarious.
Literally. I love it. I love it.
So good.
But
Oh,
once
the
again,
comment.
this is what I'm talking about. We saw a complete altercation of just college football. Like next year, it won't be 4 teams competing. Like these games coming up this week, they won't mean that much anymore, right? Because we're like, okay, well, this game could alter this. If this team loses, this might be altered. It's a chaos scenario. It's not going to be a chaos scenario anymore. Because if you make conference championships, you're basically into the college football playoff come next year.
Yeah. I mean, and we can talk about that more in the offseason. The automatic bids, I'm not a fan of. When I asked for, the top 12 teams, I was thinking the top 12 teams, not this
Iowa?
weird thing where
Not Iowa,
Yeah,
like it'd be Iowa this year.
yeah.
Isn't that nuts? It'd be Iowa. Iowa would be in that shit.
Moving on. We do have to talk about this. I don't know if we just glazed over it, but Alabama,
Glazing?
Oh my God.
Alabama, man.
Glazing?
I was standing next to some Alabama fans at the wedding whenever this. Yeah, we glazed over it. We're about to. I mean, Alabama fans were glazing all over Toomer's Corner and everywhere after this victory because they should have lost. They should have lost, and just take a look at both sidelines here.
But there's a lot of airspace to cover for Milroe. Still looking. Firing. Near corner. It's caught! Touchdown, Alabama! Isaiah Bond!
People are dubbing this the Milroe Miracle, y'all. That is
The Mill throw, the Milrow miracle.
That
Insane.
is so. I mean, that is the greatest play in Alabama history, probably just behind Tua's second and 26. I mean, it really is. Like that's their greatest play in history. I mean, that's well, first of all, that's their Iron Bowl moment. Like they haven't. There hasn't been a moment like that in the Iron Bowl, and since the kick six, and the kick six will never ever be triumphed unless it was like they're both ranked top 4 playing for the playoffs. And
That is redemption for the kick six, though.
oh yeah,
That is super
absolutely.
Yeah,
redemption.
10 years ago, back at Auburn. Yeah,
Absolutely.
dude.
I mean,
I missed that moment because I was watching another game, but I'm seeing the highlights of it.
What game were you
And
watching?
well, Florida State.
Yeah.
Did that happen? I don't think that was
no,
on at the
no,
time.
it was almost, yeah. Yeah,
I'm
well,
trying to
he
figure
was
that out. I'm like, what
he
other
was in-
game could you watch?
he was in the stadium, right? Like he had to get to
Yeah.
the seats and stuff.
Yeah,
But
I couldn't see the game. No, actually, they did have the game on the jumbotron for a little while.
oh,
But
my
then, as
God.
like pregame warmups were getting underway and they were doing the festivities, they had to turn it off and do other stuff. So I should correct myself. I saw like 2 seconds of it, but when I saw like the highlights of it afterwards, God, I was just pissed off. I was probably more pissed off than Florida losing because I was like, you know what, I'm not really that surprised. But Auburn having that moment and then seeing like the fan reactions, like the fans who are recording themselves as it's happening because they're thinking they're about to storm the field. But no, instead they're just getting their hearts ripped out of their throat. Ah,
You mean these fan reactions?
This chick's a meme, dog.
I mean, oh man, it's so sad.
you thought you had it, you know? I mean, I thought I felt that after Florida lost against Missouri.
Dude, that
You
one right
thought
there
you
is
had it.
examples. The thing is, like a lot of those people, that's probably it's their senior year, and they've never seen Auburn beat Bama in the Iron Bowl, and that's so heartbreaking for them because it's like the staple of like college football to them, right? And now they have to go into the real world, leaving their college life, knowing they never did that. It's actually kind of funny. So, my buddy Trevor, who's an ATO, his girlfriend goes to Auburn, so he's gotten like student section tickets for years now up there. But he was at that game, and I'm texting him like during all this whole sequence, right? And I go, bro, this is looking crazy. He's like, yeah. And I go, it hits that 4th and 31. I go, holy shit, dude, you're gonna get to rush the field. I jinxed it so hard.
Oh
bro.
no!
I
why
jinxed
would
No,
do
you
that?
can't
so
do that.
hard. I jinxed
Especially
it
when
so
Alabama
hard.
has the ball.
I know. I don't care though, but I jinxed it so hard. And so I'm currently at work. Like I have the game on our projector at work, and he texts me back, "What the hell?" And I go, "Oh no, they're about to score." Because like I haven't seen it yet. Because
You haven't seen it. You got the
live
delay.
from TV delay. I look at the guy working next to me. I go, "Bro, they're about to score. They're about to score." He's like, "There's no way they score." I go, "They're gonna score, dog." My buddy just texted me. And I go, like, he said, "What the hell?" Like some crazy stuff just happened. And then corner around the end zone, I go, "Oh my God." I jinxed that so hard, man.
Auburn jinxed itself here.
I jinxed
They were putting the pressure on Milrow all game, and then they decided to bring 2.5. They had a guy spy in Milrow, and then they only brought. Yeah, I mean, Auburn just you gotta put some pressure on them in that moment. It's 4th and 31. Try and get a sack. Try to lock down some coverage. Keep some guys over top.
Send 3.5 at least, man. Or 2.5.
Something that's disappointing though. Moving forward though,
Heartbreaking
loss for Auburn. Y'all could have redeemed your season, but you know what? They played Georgia tough. They played Alabama tough. So
How badly would they have been in shambles though? Like a week after getting blown up by New Mexico State?
yeah, it's rough. But that's what I'm saying. College football is a weird sport, man. And maybe they poured all their heart and soul into this game and just came up just 31 yards
They
short.
still lost to New Mexico
Fourth and
State,
30.
dude.
That's
You know
rough.
who was
They're
really
lost.
you know who was really mad was my dad. My dad was pissed.
My mom was
He
pissed.
was one Auburn went so bad.
I
My
wanted
mom,
Auburn to win. too.
She will always root for a Bama loss. My mom will always root for a Bama loss. She was. I know she was. I don't watch the game of her, but I just know she was definitely pissed. Like anytime that Bama regains a lead in any game, she's pissed. Like you'll hear her yell whatever curse word at the TV. She's pissed.
At the same time, the Alabama game was going on. Washington and Washington State were battling it out in the Apple Cup, and Washington ends up coming out with the victory there.
Ugly game.
All eyes were glued on the Bama game for me, so I didn't really get to pay attention to this game too much. But Washington does get the victory there, and I thought it was going to be more of a blowout than it was. Was wrong. It was close, but Washington
42-yarder,
Washington State's chance at a bowl game and continues their perfect season, closes out the season 12-0.
A 42-yarder to win, though. It's scary times.
Yeah, that is scary. Could have sent it to overtime.
But when you have these undefeated teams who are playing these teams who are barely bowl eligible, if not bowl eligible at all. Whenever they're playing these really, really, really tight games, like, do you let that harm the team, like the undefeated team, or like Alabama one-loss team, Washington undefeated? Do you let that harm them going into the next rankings that they barely got away with the win, or do you just chalk it up to that's rivalry week? That's what's going to happen.
How my comment on this is, if a team behind them handled a team like, because we saw Georgia jump Ohio State after blowing out somebody, but Ohio State played a kind of a close game. Maybe if the team behind them blows the team out and handles them and shows dominance, they will jump them. But will they make a team drop in the rankings purposely because of it? I don't think so. Because, I mean, if you look at Boston College FSU, no one really penalizes them for that game, right? Like, that game literally doesn't get talked about at all. And that game should have probably gone to overtime. Same with the Clemson overtime game. That game doesn't get penalized against them at all. But if the team behind them is more dominant, which I think we saw this a few weeks ago when Washington jumped FSU. I forget.
Yeah, because FSU played North Alabama and Jordan Travis got hurt that week. Washington had a big win at Oregon State.
Yeah. So, it depends on what the team behind them is doing. Now, they're not going to drop multiple spots in the rankings, maybe earlier in the year, but at this time of the year now. But those games don't really get brought up like that, and at least in my opinion.
There you go. All right, moving on. Louisville did lose to Kentucky. I called that. I
knew that was coming.
I thought Louisville was going to lose to Kentucky there. They'd lose by a touchdown, and Louisville did have this game in hand, but they found a way to lose because they're Louisville, and they found a way to lose. Kentucky gets their 5th victory in a row at Louisville, or it might have been 3rd in a row. I've heard 5 or 3 running around, but Mark Stoops bookends the season with a rivalry win, and he's on the sidelines talking about going to Texas A&M. Like, in this.
Don't worry, folks. He's going nowhere.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. You'll get another victory against Louisville again. And the game of the week last week, we have to mention it. Ohio State goes to Michigan, goes to the Big House, gets a loss. Kyle McCord, I think he played a very good game up until those 2 interceptions. Even had Marvin Harrison open on that last interception and just got hit. And Michigan made a good play on the ball. Justin, I'll let you do some mourning here over the Buckeyes.
It's just tough, man. You got your best defense you've had in a while. First of all, that clip right there of Blake Corum, that's a stupid clip because he talks about players wearing Louis Vuitton and stuff. Talking about Marvin Harrison, right? Like Marvin Harrison over here doing the most, and he's not playing ball, even though Marvin Harrison dropped 5 catches for 110 yards and a tutty on his team, acting like he didn't do much. I thought that was a dumb comment by him. But anyways, they still won, so I guess he can make whatever comment he feels. I just don't get it. Like this Ryan Day, that man's got to go. Like I'm sorry, he's got to go. You got one job, right? They don't care what happens. But the thing that has cost you playoffs, the things that's cost you the Big Ten, and because this game, it equates for the goals for the rest of the season, whether that be a Big Ten, whether it be the playoffs, or whether it be a national championship. This game has a factor in all that. And if you lose it 3 straight times, you're failing 3 years in a row. But you haven't been to a Big Ten championship in 3 years. You went to a playoff last year, luckily, because the ACC didn't have a team competing last year. But this year, you're really needing a lot of dominoes to fall a certain way if you want to have any chance of making the playoffs. And even at that point, you probably still shouldn't make it because what the hell? Yeah, no, this
what the F?
Well, it's horrible. Like this Kyle McCord, I get it. It's his first year starting, but those stats right there, he's really not statistically. He's not a bad quarterback. He's actually better than JJ McCarthy statistically, but 2 interceptions, not great. I thought they had a chance. Like they were putting something together there in that last drive. I was like, hey, maybe. But in years past, if CJ Stroud can't come back there and win, I mean, I doubt that he's going to do it. I keep seeing the meme. This meme's so funny. I love this meme. So there's a movie with.
We got to hurry up.
Okay, never mind. I'm just going to go.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Davis is on a hard stop at 7:30. So we're trying to
What do you got to do at 7:30?
Hey man, if we were going to start, first off, hey, can I point this out that you wanted to start at 6 originally, and then you pushed it back. So I made plans that was going to fall in line with the 6 schedule.
What are you doing with plans? Like what you got?
That's what happens.
Making dinner with the wife.
Breaking news. Florida has parted ways with secondary coach Corey Raymond and defensive line coach Sean Spencer per Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel. Need to part ways with both of those offensive line coaches and get an OC and get a special teams coordinator. That's what I say. But that's breaking news. That was just on the Twitter and Instagrams. All right.
Oh man.
Moving forward
No surprise.
to week 14. It's the conference championship time. We know it. We love it.
Kentucky is.
Yeah. I just wanted to play that soundbite. All right. Our first matchup. Conference USA. New Mexico State at Liberty. We're all on Liberty here.
Liberty
Bibberty all the way. They're undefeated. I think they'll stay undefeated. And New Mexico State did beat Auburn. They're a good team, not a bad team.
New fun team.
We got 5 people watching us live. I want to remind you guys to follow us on the College Football Extravaganza podcast channel on YouTube. I see a few of you guys are on the Higher Frequency Podcast Network. If you would, switch over to the new one. We're trying to build that channel up. But thank you for the follow. Thanks for the listen. Leave a like on either one if you do. But yeah, I got Liberty here. Justin, you got anything to say about Liberty? Davis, anyone?
I mean, I love New Mexico State, and I think they've had an awesome year compared to what they've done in the past. But Liberty did beat them by like 14 or 16, like in week 2 or 3. But hey, New Mexico State's hot, man. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be one of the better championship games this weekend when it comes to overall competitiveness.
It's gonna be fun to watch. It's also on a Friday night. Later on that Friday night, around the same time, Oregon and Washington in the final Pac-12 championship game.
Oh, I'm so fired up for this game. I'm beyond fired up.
Can I get an ow? Because like it says ow on the screen. So ow.
It does say ow.
Ow.
Ow. And looks like Davis and I are taking Oregon. Justin, you're riding Penix. That's fine.
I mean, you have to. I mean, that's the thing. So I knew this was the game that y'all would probably go against me on, which that's okay. I think because I had to sit with Washington. Like they are my dark horse since the beginning of the year. I'm going to have to die by them, even though right now Oregon is playing better football. And if I just came into this year, I'd probably say Oregon. But I also need to come back and picks. And it's either I'm going to die losing or I'm going to go up there and try and win. And it's better to be, I have to go for it instead of trying to play it safe right now.
Yep. Yep. I think you did a good job on the picks if you're trying to come back. I got Oregon. Dan Lanning's gonna have to make better decisions than he did last time against Washington. They get that field goal, they get the other field goal in the second half, and then they make that first down. Don't give Washington the ball to win the game. A lot of decisions there that cost them the game. It was a close game. I think Oregon should have won it, and so I think they're hot. Washington's been playing not as good. I think Oregon gets the win.
I think Oregon gets the win. And also, you're not going back to Washington. It's at a neutral site. It's actually in Vegas. Yeah, it's in Vegas. So, hey, man, may the odds ever be in their favor. This is going to be a fun game. Bo Nix, I'm talking about Bo Nix a lot because he is just on fire. I think he's on fire. He's got the hottest hand in football right now. He's going to keep it rolling in Vegas.
Hot hands. All right. Moving forward, It's the Big 12 championship. Oklahoma State Cowboys versus the Longhorns of Tejas. And looks like we're all locked in on Texas. I'm locked in on Texas because did you not see last weekend against Texas Tech? They're hot.
Complete ass kicking.
Yeah, they're rolling. They want to make a statement. They need to get in the college football playoff. They need a couple things to happen for them, but they just got to take care of business here. I think if anyone's going to be able to stop Ollie Gordon, it's going to be Texas in that D line. I don't think they're going to hold them to no yards, but I do think they hold them under. If they have to hold them under 100 yards, if they want to
hold them, get it. Texas hold.
Texas hold them, yeah. Texas hold them.
Yeah.
David, Justin, y'all got anything on this one?
No. I mean, I said I got to reach out on some things, but I got to play it safe on this one. That's for sure.
Play it safe. Moving on, Mac championship. I don't have much on this. I just went with the favorite. Went with Toledo here. I think they've been playing better ball, but both teams. I think Toledo's
fun action.
Toledo's like 10-2, or not Toledo. Miami's 10-2, and Toledo's like 10-1 or 11-1, something like that. So,
this will be a fun game.
I think
underrated game right here.
They did play each other. Toledo won by 4. This is a good game. It's gonna be a really good game. I could go. I mean, but it's at Toledo, where it was at Miami last time, and they won at Miami. So, but yeah, no, I think it's a good game. And I mean, Miami, Ohio did beat Cincinnati, who, I mean, yeah.
No, both teams are good. It could go either way. Justin, you could pick up another win here if you went the opposite or on both of us. So it's up to you. I'll give you the trade over if you want.
I'm personally good on this one.
Trying to get them going. All right. Boise State playing UNLV. UNLV.
Wait, did I even make a pick on this game? I didn't make a pick on this game, you asshole.
Oh, sorry. That's right. You didn't. Well, I texted you and you didn't text back, so I threw you over to Boise.
Yeah, no, it's UNLV. Don't even try. It's UNLV.
All right. We're all on UNLV here for the Mountain West Championship. I think this one is also going to be played in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going with UNLV because they are in Las Vegas. They don't have to go far.
Yeah,
and
I bet against
the head coach now.
When I was in Vegas recently, I bet against UNLV when Wyoming was in town because I got drunk with some Wyoming fans. Bad bet. It was a bad bet. Don't drink and gamble, guys.
Hey,
UNLV. I'm redeeming myself.
Marshall was a smart bet though. Got him $10.
I was not quite as drunk when I bet that one.
$10 straight to the slot machine. All right, moving forward. The American Conference. SM. I'm about to go over there and get me something.
Like what in the world? He's
back. He's back.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to close it out. We're so you got to close it out with us.
Yeah, here I'm back.
All right, SMU, Tulane. I think Tulane.
Yeah, that was on accident.
I think Tulane's been playing excellent. SMU also is really hot right now, so I'm not too sure about this. SMU's 10-2, Tulane's 11-1. This is going to be a great game.
This is a game. Well, they didn't face off during the year, and SMU has some really good losses, like losing by 17 to Oklahoma. Like that's not a loss that you discredit. And Tulane, I mean, I thought UTSA was going to give Tulane a run for their money. They didn't. I mean, this is not a smart bet by me, but it's a bet that I need to make in order to play good ball and try and get back in this thing. So,
yeah, I like the SMU. I mean,
this game can go either way for sure.
Yeah. Same with the other one. I think this game could go either way. I hope Tulane gets the win just because it's. I don't know. I like rooting for Tulane. They're in New Orleans. They're close by. It's a fun game to root for. Speaking of close by, we got a game over in Troy, Alabama. The Appalachian State Mountaineers coming to town.
I'm pretty sure Tulane's closer than Troy. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think
2.5 hours, Tulane? I don't know. I've never been to Troy.
I don't know. Troy's pretty close.
No, Troy is 3.5 hours.
New Orleans is 3 hours relative. You know?
Yeah, Troy is way farther. No,
all right.
Stupid. Troy's only 2 hours away.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that far. But Appalachian State's hot right now. Coming off that win at JMU, everyone had their eyes on JMU saying it's not fair. They're not in a bowl game. Which, by the way, JMU is now in a bowl game because there's too many 5-7 teams. Same with Jacksonville State, but.
I think I might flip on this game. I don't know.
Go to Troy. It is at Troy. I'm gonna stay put. If you want to flip, you got to flip now.
Yeah, I'll flip now.
All right, Justin's on Troy. The graphics already out, but
Rob's like, I'm not changing it.
I'm not changing it. But just remember you're on Troy, and me and Davis will stick with the Mountaineers. Troy's been better all season long, but Appalachian State, I think they played better competition. I think they're hot right now, so I'm gonna stick with them. And we'll move on to the Big Ten, the last old Big Ten championship. Iowa, as many points as they did not score this whole year, they still found a way to get into this championship game. Michigan beat Ohio State. They're in. Michigan's got its eyes set on the playoffs. I think they lock it in and they win.
Yeah, just to complete, I think this will be just a mop job for Miami, Michigan. Michigan's going to take care of business against Iowa.
Taking care of it. Yeah,
it's going to be similar to the Penn State game for Iowa.
They're going to stand on business.
They struggle enough scoring points against Nebraska. Like, come on, you really think they're going to put anything up against Michigan?
No. All right, and that's going to bring us to the game of the week. It's the SEC championship. This game has been played many times. It's got national championship implications. It's Georgia and Alabama in the SEC championship. One more time, the SEC. I would say the old SEC, but we're just adding two new teams in Oklahoma and Texas. So Georgia and Alabama running it back again in the championship. It's going to be a close game, man. I'm going to go with Georgia, though. Georgia has never beaten Alabama in the Kirby Smart. I guess I don't think they've ever beat Alabama in the SEC championship, actually.
No, they haven't.
So this would be a first for Georgia. They have an opportunity to do something that
Saban has not lost an SEC championship. I don't think ever in his time.
He lost to Florida in 2008.
I was getting there, Bubba.
Yeah,
I was getting there, Bubba. I was getting there, Bubba. I was going to say since the Tebow era, but you won't let me finish.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, I mean, Alabama comes to play. Both of these teams can beat each other. They're built to beat each other. To me, it's going to be a close game. The spread is sitting at 5.5.
No, 5.5. 8.5 is the Oklahoma or Oregon game.
Yeah, right now it's
wild.
Right now it's -6. It moved to -6 Georgia, so it's moving towards Georgia.
If we were taking points, I would still take Bama. Well, I mean, of course, I take Bama because I'm picking them to win. But
yeah, I'm sticking with Georgia. I think they look like the better team right now, and they have all season, especially since the Kentucky game. Georgia's been dominant. They've looked like the top 4 or number 1 team in the nation. Alabama has come on hot lately, but I guess we'll see. This is nut up or shut up.
Oh yeah, baby.
Mm-hmm.
We love it. Nut up or shut up.
Nice. Really, that's all it is.
I'm not going to be too surprised if this ends up being a low-scoring game, like a somewhat low, like SEC low-scoring game. Like these are two powerhouse teams. I'm going to make a prediction that Georgia's going to win the ball game. As you can see, my happy self on the Georgia graphic, my shirt blending in with the G. But I'm going to say we're going to have like a 28 to 24, 25 kind of final.
That's not really
so
low
field goals.
scoring.
That's low. That's why I said low scoring for this kind of game.
That's pretty low.
I mean, low scoring. I'm not talking like Iowa low scoring. Those don't happen in these kinds of games. But if the over and under was it like 55?
54 and a half.
54 and a half. I'm thinking the under. Very close. Very close.
Joey's calling us out. He says no shot game.
We'll do Louisville.
I think this is a good one. I think this is a good one. Shot
it's
game.
good. Or we could do Louisville FSU. It's up to y'all.
What the fuck? I definitely skipped.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. I was trying to interrupt you.
That was
like,
You're
going. Oh yeah, we got a
you
game
and I
of the
were
week,
different.
and I'm like.
Look, give me. I gotta go, but give me Florida State to take that one, finish undefeated, really make things interesting come Selection Sunday.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. It just didn't add the Tulane added twice. So yeah, we'll cover that one, especially for our FSU fans. Been sitting here
They got
all
the
day.
best logo out of every other game.
Davis does take Florida State to win this one, Joey. So congratulations, you swayed one of the Gators.
Like a true dick rider.
I'm going with Louisville just because
Because.
Tate Rodemaker, I don't know. He just last week, I don't think he played like a lot of FSU fans thought Tate Rodemaker would play. I think that Florida's defense put some pressure on him. I think Louisville's defense is better than Florida's defense as far as pass rush goes. So I think they put the pressure on. But when Jordan Travis was hurt last year, who beat Louisville? Tate Rodemaker. So FSU wins this, and they're in. In my mind, if FSU wins this game, they're in the playoffs. Congratulations, you snuck in. But it's going to be a tough game to win, especially absent Jordan Travis.
Yeah, no, I give me Louisville. This is an easy call, in my opinion. Like they're finally playing one of the better teams in the ACC. They're not playing UNC. They're playing Louisville. They haven't had to play anyone tough in the ACC all year. They've had a pretty easy cakewalk of a schedule. The thing I brought up earlier is that they don't take it serious until their back's up against the wall in the fourth quarter, and I don't think you could do that come Louisville. They've just played slow out the gate every game this year, and this is the time of year where if you're doing that, it's going to show that you don't deserve to compete.
Mm-hmm. And Louisville does fight in the fourth quarter, and things can get out of hand quick. Ask Notre Dame, ask Georgia Tech. Those are some of the games I saw this year where Louisville just came out of nowhere and said, "Okay, we got to start playing now." Now, last week they did lose one to Kentucky, so rivalry game though. Anything can happen. Things got chippy, but like I said, Florida State has something to play for. Yeah, I think you sneak in because the committee's taking into account Jordan Travis. So if Florida State messes up at all, I don't think Florida State looked good against Florida. Florida is a bad team.
No, they're not sneaking in. I don't think they're sneaking in. Like they're not going to hold out a Power 5 undefeated team. Like
no, that's what I'm saying. They're getting in if they win, but just this whole season, Florida State, and it kind of reminds me of like 2006 Florida, even though Florida had one loss that year, where you just found a way to win games throughout the season, and that's a good attribute in a championship team. If you can find a way to win a game, that's good because bad teams find ways to lose games. Ask the Gators. Ask the fucking Gators. All right, so there you go, Joey.
Where'd Davis go? Davis is gone.
He's making dinner, but that's going to do it for us in a championship game.
Well, you don't want to talk about I don't know. We haven't talked about stuff in a while. There's a lot more to talk about.
You did okay, yeah. You did miss a couple weeks. What do you want to talk about? We got stuff in the chat, and we can talk about.
So there's a few things
as well
that I wanted to bring up. If I'm being honest, Florida, Missouri is one of them. What the fuck was that, man? 4th and 17. How the? Do
you want to commiserate? If you want to,
I know I do. I just want to talk about things I didn't get a chance to talk about.
Yeah,
like Florida missed it, like Mizzou. What the fuck? How did you lose that? That was bizarre.
Yeah, that one sucked, and that's another reason why this loss was so bad because Ricky Pearsall has a good game at Missouri. Graham Mertz goes down trying to beat Tim Tebow, and he played a great game. Graham Mertz has been lights out all season, pretty much.
Graham Mertz is honestly, probably he's the best quarterback we've had since. Well, I'm not going to finish that statement.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna finish that
AR is a great quarterback. He's a generational talent, but AR didn't really have the accuracy that Mertz has. Passer wise, Mertz I think is better.
Well, that's the thing. So the reason why I think I've mentioned this on the pod once is that Mertz is a better quarterback to have for a football team. Is he a better quarterback than AR? No, but he's consistent with how he plays. So I've always said, if your quarterback comes out, puts up 250 and maybe a couple of touchdowns, that's always easy to build around, knowing what your offense delivers. But there were some games that AR would drop 150, throw 2 picks, and had like a 50% completion rate. And then some games he's dropping 300 with a couple touchdowns on the ground, yada, yada, yada. And that was always just like a flash in the pan, right? Like, oh, he'd do it there, he'd do it there. But Graham Mertz, it's the same product every time. So it's easier to build a football team around that type of guy because you know what you're getting out of him every single week. Whereas AR, it's like, well, we need you to do this, but you might go do this dumb shit sometimes too. And we don't really know. So that's where that problem is.
Yeah.
Where Kyle Trask was just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting up Danny Warfel like numbers. So it is what it is. But and Mertz has a chance to come back next year. I mean, he's not going to leave. And I like with DJ Lagway coming in, you know, fans are going to want to see Lagway. But with the schedule and how it is, you're going to need some depth at quarterback, and you're going to need to damn it, you're going to need to get an O-line. You got to protect the new guy. You got to protect Mertz. And you could see how the run game, like with Max Brown in, they were running a lot more read option, and FSU was just blowing the line up. There was no chance for Max to get any kind of reads going.
Hold on. I do want to address this guy in the chat. Joey, like he said, your star receiver got 1 catch and 6 targets, whereas Keon Coleman had 1 catch. Like his game too. Like what the hell? Like Keon Coleman only had 1 catch. Like we're not gonna he didn't have 1 catch. Like come on now.
Yeah, more actually locked down Keon Coleman pretty fucking good against FSU. So and Keon Coleman also got locked down against Miami too. So I don't know. Keon Coleman's obviously a dog. Like he's a beast. I'm not taking anything away from Keon Coleman. And that is another thing I wanted to discuss. Ricky Pearsall was 60 yards away from being a 1,000-yard receiver, and you only get him 1 target. You can't do that, man.
No, he only had 1 catch. He had 6 targets, but he only had 1 catch.
Yeah. He only had 1 catch. You got to hit him. You got to find ways to get him the ball, man. He's a playmaker. He's your best receiver. I mean, maybe Eugene Wilson is better, but he's a true freshman. Ricky is the leader of that wide receiver core. You got to get him the ball. Dude, no, Keon dropped a whole like he was in the end zone. He dropped it was a jump ball. Oh yeah, right? That's right. He did drop one
blatantly. I'm like,
yeah.
That's not the first time I've seen him do that. Like I've always like made those comments. I'm like, I've seen him drop just some really random passes, and no one talks about it. But like he is an electric player, but he does just make these random, buffers where it's like, what the fuck was that?
Johnny Wilson also would drop a couple passes. He did have a major catch there at the Gators, like 1 or 2 yard line, toe tapping to get the first down.
This is a good question. With Buddy Casey popping in here with a great question. 2.
Yeah.
2. A 2 would be a great confidence in that scale. I don't know. I think we compete with Tennessee next year almost as a loss. Georgia is a loss. Miami, I don't know. A&M. Yeah,
now Miami's the opener too. So
yeah, I think we go at best 2-4 in those games, and we'll still be able to compete. But I think we beat Tennessee, and we're going to beat A&M or Miami. But like the Tennessee and A&M games are going to be very similar to what the Arkansas game was for us this year, where it's just like anything could happen. Either team can win this game.
I think we can get Tennessee.
Joe, if we start 2-5 and he's not fired and we're left on the tarmac somewhere out west, I don't know what the hell is going on with that AD.
The AD is not going to get a chance to. Scott Strickland's going to be fired if Florida has to make another coaching hire.
That's why Billy's not fired yet.
Yeah, and Billy does have a good recruiting class coming in, but he's got to hold on to that. He's got to hold on to it. I mean, FSU jumped him. Now we were 3. Now we're sitting at like 10 or something, and that's not going to be acceptable for Florida fans. Like, you got to have something positive this season. If the only thing positive is you barely beat Tennessee in the swamp, That's not anything good luck to look
Going
at.
back to your next question, Casey, I don't know if you're just here, but we were just talking about Graham Mertz is not the reason why this team loses. Graham Mertz is actually the reason why this team competes. So Lagaway, there's no rush for him. Not even a little. Now, come next year, maybe, depending on what he does. But if Graham Mertz is doing anything close to what he's been doing this year, I mean, I want him at QB. There's no reason why not to have him at QB. He's very consistent, and you can build around him. I would rather have Graham Mertz over Anthony Richardson. Now, Anthony Richardson will have better games, but Graham Mertz is more consistent. And I will take consistent quarterback play over, show-stopping, electric quarterback play and highlight reel quarterback play any day of the week. Because consistent quarter play, you need your quarterback to be the most consistent player on your team, and that is hands down, or your center. Your center or your quarterback have to be your most consistent players every single week.
This schedule is going to be one of the hardest schedules in all of college football next year. And
especially depending on what UCF does. I mean, if UCF's good next year, I mean, it's going to be horrible.
And this is another reason why people are mad at Scott Strickland, is because he locked in some very difficult schedules for Florida through like 2031. Like, we go to Colorado, we go to California, we got FSU and LSU and Georgia every year.
Oh man, this is ugly.
It's bad.
Woo! You need to work the trenches.
Yeah. Here's the thing: Florida's going to hit the transfer portal, and the portal opens up next week after the conference championship game. And I'll be looking, but you got to find people that want to come to Florida, and people don't want to come to a school that went 5-7. They want to transfer to a team that's got some potential. Now, last year Florida didn't hit the transfer portal as good as they should have, I don't think. Florida State hit it great. That's how they got Keon Coleman. That's how they got a number of guys on the defense. Like, you're going to have to do that, get some O-linemen, but you're not going to get like the cream of the crop O-linemen in the transfer portal.
No, you're not. And to his last question for us, no, I think when it comes to Napier, the reason why, because I feel like Florida's problem has not just been the same thing every game, right? Like, one game it's this game.
Besides the discipline, I think has been.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's something that falls under what I'm getting at. Is it's not just one problem that's inconsistent. They have many problems that's inconsistent and sloppy, and they'll try and fix this thing one game, but then this becomes a problem, and then they'll try and fix that one, and then this becomes a problem. It's like they forever keep losing what they're supposed to be fixing, and they just can't play an all-around game. And I think that's just a coaching problem in general. And then when you add in the discipline that you were going off on, yes, that falls right under that context. That, I mean, for me, Billy Napier should be gone. He won't be gone because Strickland will be gone. So Strickland's like, I need you to do the fucking nut up here, buddy, or I'm going to have to get down there and make some shit happen. But it's just not good right now for the Gators, for sure.
Looks like Tyler Van Dyke has entered the transfer portal from Miami.
Well, yeah, because he got beat out by the Milton boy.
Yeah,
Tyler
Van Dyke's gonna go somewhere, and hopefully, I mean, I like TVD, dude. I think he just needs some more confidence. He's not playing with confidence at all.
I personally do not agree with your statement there.
I mean, I like Tyler Van Dyke 2 years ago, not this year, but yeah. Easton Kilty, I don't really know who that is.
He's from North Dakota, dog. Look where he's transferred from, North Dakota.
Yeah, go somewhere. Let's see. Greg Gaines, Iowa State. I'm trying to see any. Here you go. You got an offensive tackle out of Landon Peterson out of Texas Tech. Come on to Florida, baby. We need you. I don't know. Billy's got to get in here and take a look at this. I bet I'm doing the same thing Billy's doing right now. If this is Amazon and there's a shopping list, I'm going add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. Just straight down all defensive guys.
Tyler Van Dyke to UNC. I don't know if he's good enough for UNC, man.
I think he's good enough. I think under Max Brown.
I think Will Rogers or Will Howard to UNC is a better option for them. So I think that's more likely to happen.
Can you sort by position here? Yeah, we'll sort by position. Will Rogers, like you just mentioned, he is transferring out of Mississippi State.
Will Howard should be down there somewhere too.
Yeah. Max Johnson out of Texas A&M. Hell, Florida State could could reach out for him, Joey, if you want him.
Look at the running backs. I want to see the running backs.
Trayshawn Ward out of Kansas State. Cheney. Andre Hines. Yeah. I don't know. For Florida, I mean, we got
Oh,
a good
Chris Tyree, dude, that's
Yeah.
a sneaky steal right there. Whoever gets that
from Notre
guy,
Dame. Yeah.
that kid's
I
a
mean,
solid player.
Notre Dame's got a stacked running back room. Not surprised. Tyree makes this move here.
What do you got for receivers? I want to see the receivers.
I'll go down the line here.
Yep. Oh, that
Ooh.
one right there. That
Cottrell.
one right. Oh yeah.
Florida is targeting Raymond Cottrell.
Well, because he was
Florida-
committed to us before
Yeah.
he decommitted and went to Georgia and then went to A&M. But he could also go to Miami because his former high school quarterback will be starting there next year.
Yeah.
So another one of our local boys up there, the 4-star, one of the bigger recruits that we've had in a while. But yeah, whenever he hit the portal, I'm like, Miami gonna be calling him. Florida might be calling. I mean, the reason why he left is because Dan Mullen got fired. That wasn't so like really. I don't think he's huge on Florida's radar because of the fact that he wants nothing to do with Billy Napier. Probably like that's why he left. That's why he's not playing in the first place because Billy Napier is there now after Dan Mullen got fired. But
It'd be a good
Georgia,
ad.
I doubt Georgia trying to pick him up. He did have one catch this year for a touchdown, but that's all he did. But he should still have 4 or 5 years of eligibility because he should be redshirting. So
And Florida, like, to be honest, at wide receiver, I like a lot of the young guys that Billy's brought in. We had 2 big injuries. I mean, we didn't really get to see Aiden Mizell. Douglas got hurt in the second game of the season, and he had an amazing catch in one of the first 2 games. So we got some wide receivers. I mean, you got Eugene Wilson coming back. So I like the young wide receivers we have, but to add one more, that'd be pretty good. Nakai Pohl, I mean, maybe this guy goes wherever Will Rogers goes. Who knows? Let's see. Getting down to offensive line here. This is what Billy needs to look at right here.
no, this is what Dion need to look at, bro. What you talking about?
Oh yeah,
what you talking about, brother?
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Right now,
This boy got a fractured back. What you talking about? He said, "I'm
Yeah.
gonna find me some hogs."
we're gonna load more players. There's a good bit of offensive linemen in here, but do you know how many teams are going to be in here? Just like Justin said, Dion's going to be in this thing. You're sitting there, Billy Napier. You're competing with Deion Sanders in the transfer portal for an offensive lineman. You got to have a good pitch. You got to have an amazing pitch.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's going to be tough to get some of these guys, but you need to. Marcus Hicks, I like that. I like that pickup. Zeke Correll from Notre Dame. Can we get it? I like targeting that because you go from Notre Dame, it's an academic institution. Coming to Florida, it's a match. It's a match there. Same with Wesley. Stay in the SEC. I'm gonna have to look more into these guys individually as the off season comes on, because that's when we'll be talking big transfer portal. Billy's a big high school recruiting guy though, so we'll see. But a lot of O linemen already, probably more to come in the next few weeks. Florida probably could pick up a couple D linemen too. I mean, to be honest, our D line, didn't really get a whole lot of sacks this year. And I'm a big proponent of if you find a dog in the transfer portal, like remember when Dan Mullen went and got Jonathan Grenard from Louisville to play 1 year at Florida? Grenard had he had multiple sacks every single game.
Yeah, I remember it. I literally have a video. Like
amazing.
he got the last play against literally the last game that Florida won versus FSU in the Swamp was a Jonathan Grenard sack.
Yeah.
So wait, no, I'm wrong on that because that was in 2019. We won. Nope, we didn't play him in 2021. Nope, we did play him in 2021. I'm drunk. Sorry.
We didn't play FSU in 2020. We had him in 2019.
We did beat them in 2021 though at the Swamp.
Yeah.
So I was wrong on that statement. But in 2019, that game did end on a Jonathan Grenard sack. That is factual.
Yeah.
I did. I got to interview him at the Senior Bowl.
That's
I
pretty
was
cool. I mean,
18.
he's one. He earned one of my favorite D linemen. Like he only played 1 year, but earned one of my spots as like favorite D lineman at Florida, just because of how disruptive he was. And he's a smaller guy, so people were rooting against him. But he's playing for the Texans now, so that's good. I think Billy's got to hit this hard. You got to hit defense hard. You got to hit defensive back hard. But we'll do more transfer portal talk as this goes on.
Yeah. All right.
You got any more? I think that kind of satisfies me a little bit.
Marshall made a bowl game, man. Happy to hear. Happy to hear that South game. That was a fucking brutal game. And I did beat Chad Pennington though, and that was literally like one of the highlights of the year for me. That was so cool. Like I was literally like walking back to the bathroom. He's like walking in the bathroom, like he makes eye contact with me, and I go, "You," and he goes, "Yeah." I go, "You're Chad." You're Chad, and he goes, "Yeah, I am." I was like, "Can we?" He's like, "Let me use." He's like, "Let me use the bathroom first." I was just like kind of shocked. Like I don't get shocked like that, but when you kind of grow up, like you've seen the video of my living room at home, right? Like it's just covered in Marshall
stuff. Yeah,
half of that stuff has Chad Pennington's face on it. So when he's like kind of like worshipped throughout like your life in childhood of being a Marshall fan, and you just like see him in person, you're like, what the fuck? Like, that was pretty crazy. I guarantee you he probably does not get the reaction that I gave him ever. So, but yeah, no, that was definitely crazy.
Nice.
Because his son was playing, not playing great, but he was playing.
I mean, Chad Pennington, that's a cool. At least he was cool enough to talk to you. And
I watched the last drive that his son played in that game.
You're like, I saw his wiener when he peed. It was good. Yeah. It was good. big ween. Big ween.
And there it goes.
we mentioned this. James Madison is now going to be bowl eligible because there's so many Florida 5-7 teams out there. So them and Jacksonville State going bowling. The NCAA didn't really have to make a decision here, which is kind of unfortunate. But
they can put them in a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, maybe
it'll probably be Tulane or SMU.
That'd be a good game. I saw a bowl prediction that had them playing Arkansas State. I'm like, that's a waste. Put them against like you're saying.
They literally play in the same conference, so they can't do that. That's illegal. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that, dude. You can't do that, man.
And I heard people talking. They were saying there might be a way Florida or Nebraska, one of these 5-7 teams, gets in a bowl, depending on like points and how the bowls rate them. But if you're Florida, I don't know if you.
Oh, we get to go back to the Birmingham Bowl and play ECU again. I'm so excited.
Right. This I thought this was funny. You might. I don't know if you saw this out of UCF puts out great social media. This is really funny. This is
Dana
Holgorsen talking about how they're the real space school. So this, instead of the war on I-4 at the end of every year, we get the space race.
Some space city thing. I thought we were space city. I guess they can do too because they have the launch pad. Yeah, the launch pad is like 45 minutes. It's not close. Not, they don't say, Orlando, we got a problem.
UCF's wild, dude. The fridge. What's the answer?
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
No, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Go.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, my fellas.
So good. This is so good. That's one of the best. Like that's probably the best edit I've seen all year since TCU last year.
Yeah, if you're not following UCF football and UCF Knights, go follow them. They put out great social media content, the likes of which we could only hope for. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Yeah, we had some fun. We have a funny little group chat here. This is weird. I think we can end on this. and I'll go get me a Pop-Tart too. There's gonna be a Pop-Tart bowl.
You know,
and-
that was weird. Like when I saw that, I was like, could you imagine like being in that mascot and you just have
Yeah,
a bunch of
he's just getting
sweaty 300-pound males just coming out and just bite. I mean, first of all, I wouldn't even know how I would do that. Like, how would I be a player and go up there and do like that makes me uncomfortable.
Come here, a strawberry.
What flavor is it
you-
gonna be? Like
I don't know.
blueberry, strawberry,
don't know.
chocolate. Like I think strawberry has to be. It has to be strawberry.
It's got.
But also, like, how? What if it rains?
Are you gonna be soggy pastry?
What if it rains?
Yeah, they're
It's gonna
I
melt off the guy.
the Pop-Tart bowl or Pop-Tarts bowl is gonna be. I'm gonna watch it just to see the ending and the celebration. Just hoisting the guy. Is there gonna be a guy in the suit and they're just gonna start breaking off? If I'm the mascot in the Pop-Tart suit, I'm gonna be like screaming like I'm actually getting ate. You know, like you gotta act out. You gotta act it out.
Oh no, wait, no. Like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercials back in the day. That's
Yeah.
literally what that is.
Oh man, but that's funny.
Okay. Oh,
I think
we're
we'll
in
end
the-
it on that one. Good podcast. We'll be here. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. We're gonna be here in the off season, doing a better job at that, keeping up with recruiting and signees and whatnot. But thanks for joining us all 2023 season. We'll be here. There's still bowl games. There we got a bowl pick 'em. Shout out to Joey in the chat. You did win the college football extravaganza pick 'em every week. You are solidly in the lead. So you're gonna get a special gift from us here around Christmas time. Congratulations on that. I came in like 5th.
What place did I come in? I didn't really.
I don't know. That one's hard because like I missed one week.
Missed so many weeks,
I
Tom.
missed 1 week, but like also that one was the spreads. And so I think I lost a lot more on that one. On my other pick 'em where it was just straight up picks, I was a lot better. But congrats, Joey. You got the dub on us there. Be sure to join the bowl pick 'em, and we'll have that in the
That's
next
awesome.
couple weeks.
Yep. All right. Gotta go play football in the cold, but talk to you later.
Let me know if you need a warm body.